get this to a comfortable level. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've got books here. Books that aren't available in the States. They're like these are the Australian editions of different books. Totem, previous book of poetry, kind of a big love poem. And this new one, Interferon Psalms, which is kind of the opposite of that. The old geologies will disappear as the mountains erode one pebble, one day, one freeze-thaw cycle at a time. Doesn't it all end up as limestone? I had no idea how slow really was, since I was far more familiar with panic. In a Copenhagen summer long ago, she had said, the day just passes so fast. Myself, I was thinking, life. The uplifts will pulverize to trace minerals one day. The nutrients will nourish the new world. I was preoccupied, emerging into the interglacial from the glaciation of my distress. The present could turn so busy. I'd wake each morning, my blood mid-percolate, the day's hair triggers of desire and chaos hovering as always, yet unborn. And some days it's all radio K-fuck blaring inside me, so I turn down the dial on that one, oh God of hosts. And the red-crowned cranes float down through the menace. I thought sadness was the route to forgetting, but months later anger was like a detour, and the smog settled on the city and made the dusk a glory. So I praised Yahweh, saying, Holy One of Being, I am yours, and my dreams are yours. All that remained was to get to the gym. I did nothing for ages. I was trying to imitate the large-scale structures of being. She said, I want to talk to you at roughly 4 removes. For a long time I walked away from dreaming, gripping the wheel on the freeways. Will I eat the flesh of bulls or drink the blood of goats? Such irony in decision-making. I admired from my deck chair the green hills of my peripheral turbulence. I needed to choose to weep or to watch football, so I chose football because my instinct was to stay blank until further notice. The cells bubbled silently in my liver. I was my actions, not my thoughts. And longing is never love, and absence cannot be hate, but the bones can ache. All the girls started saying one thing and doing another, so I was learning ethics backwards. Everything that could sting would sting. The universe was animate and showing its intent. I took everything personally. The plains were endless, the planet vast, but even sorrow came round in a circle. I often cried at night in dreams those private myths of plaintive distress. On the other hand, O consolation of Israel, I was happy to be a multidimensional participant. May I bless also the utter desolation which fell upon me, and even my ruination was one of God's names. The mind in freefall, so full of stuff. I was greatly anointed with willow and aniseed. I went for long walks, the marjoram, the myrtle, the coriander garlands. I was back where we began this, the dogs half wild, half walled at my feet. Preparations for winter including, but not limited to, the construction of a cabin. Eros come melt in my mouth, Eros sit heavy on my shoulders. But that girl who worshipped the sun, without melancholy, without irony, she was lighter than a celery stick. And then to be so gracious with, oh loving friend, your slender thighs. I returned to the poem, the one true place, whose blood was the syntax, whose body was the word. Thus I felt fortunate to have had much experience with blood. Part of the challenge of being heroic, the object of my desperation would desert me, but the desperation wouldn't. Matter evolved as the narrative of light. Matter was the evolution of the narrative of light through time and space in the history of being. Waving my cutlass, I scythed the air. I knew there was pain, but pain was not aching. She drank too much, she was bored with drinking. What I loved was the waiting and the almost, the I'm lonely, the I dare you to amuse me, the shall I fly to meet you, the surrender, the I'm coming, and the scar on her forehead. What would I say in a letter? That my blood was 7 years older? That the world was painted thus? that she had come through the birth canal of her own idiocy. I'd had a forceps birth myself and been a pinhead ever since. The extended labour argument was not my strong suit. You know all this, great Noah, but I had sought to reduce confusion, that the effort to survive her careless violence was immense, that knowledge by itself is isolation, that the particular well embraced is not knowledge but knowing, that she had not only loved me but desired me. She had written, "This is what I am wearing when you picked me up at the airport." That terror before the abyss of the self was not the same as the transcendent in free fall. She had written, "You pull the dress over my head." That time collapsed in singularities, that you, great Noah, had loved the truth in dark places, that you grafted wisdom onto mystery, that I became the vine of that the future was see-through, that life was the gap between oblivion and memory, and that the myriad claims of bustle were thus all the more absurd. That my blood was 7 years older now, that the earth and all the inhabitants thereof are dissolved, that I must find kindness even in my goodbyes, for everyone was weary, and surely she not least. Thank you.